The best quality stock to buy in the stock market right now. And I'm very excited to talk about this one because it's a stock in my own portfolio. It's going down on what I believe is stupid kind of sentiment. Like it's a very strange reason. The stock is getting too cheap to ignore. I'm seeing over a 20% annual return from this price. And again, I'm really excited to talk about this one and explain to you why the stock is going down and why this reason is beyond any kind of rational or any kind of realistic expectations. So I'm very excited again. I think you're going to enjoy it, and I hope you do enjoy it. And this stock is Uber. Uber is down 4% today. It's been going down over the last few days, but it mainly went down today because Elon Musk has announced that he's going to be leaving his role in the White House and he's going to be focusing on his companies, including Tesla, full time. And the market is scared from Tesla's autonomous vehicles taking over the Uber business model. Some people told me buying Uber right now is like buying Nokia in 1999 or like in 2000 whenever Apple was coming up. And many told me that Uber is going to zero. But funny enough, I got the same exact arguments before Uber went up 34%. And I believe the stock at this price is cheaper than whenever the stock went up 34% because free cash flow is much, much higher and the stock is just really, really cheap. And I see a 20% annual return from this price and I might end up buying the dip myself. Now, if you're not familiar with Uber, although I'm sure you do, many of you guys might still have a bad memory from 2019, 2018, when the company went public and they weren't making any money. They were losing money like crazy and it was a popular IPO back then. But back then, the company was losing around $4.9 billion in free cash flow. The company right now is going to make 8.4 or almost $8.5 billion in free cash flow, and it's expected to make $10.5 billion in free cash flow by 2026. So the company is a totally different company from what you remember since 2018. It's a free cash flow machine. If we look at the total monthly active users went from 93 million monthly active users to 171 million users. This is massive. 171 million every single month. This is insane reach for the company. If you look at the total trips went from 5 billion trips in 2020 to 11.2 billion trips now in 2024. This is insane from the company. And Uber is getting much more profitable. The growth has been accelerating. They have a market leadership in over 30 countries. The stock and the company became a household name where people right now are going to say, okay, I'm going to call an Uber. I'm going to Uber this place. I'm gonna Uber, take an Uber. They don't even say taxis anymore. They all say Uber, especially in the West, in the United States, in Europe. They all say Uber. Like no one says taxis or cabs too much. And it became a household name, kind of like Google, and now we have Uber. So the reach that the company has over consumers and the trust in the company is absolutely massive. And the company has been, capitalizing on that over time. It's still rapidly growing, even though it's a large company. They're still growing 17% in revenues. Sometimes they grow 21% to 17%. This is massive revenue growth. Adjusted EBITDA margins have been expanding from 3.7% to 4.4%, and the growth is 35% in adjusted EBITDA. This is massive growth for a large company like Uber. Okay, now I'm going to get into the reason of why Uber is going down and the whole thing with autonomous vehicles and Elon Musk is coming back and all these kind of things and Uber is going to zero and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to tell you why Uber isn't going to zero. Okay, the first reason is Uber has many different partnerships, including their partnership with Waymo. Waymo has been so far and by a mile the leader in rolling out autonomous vehicles in a major way. They have kind of perfected the autonomous vehicle space and they've been expanding in different cities through Uber. So whenever you want to order a Waymo in Austin, Texas right now, you have to go on the Uber app and order your Waymo. Now, Uber doesn't just have the platform. Uber also has fleet managers. So if Waymo has their partnership with Uber, Uber has fleet managers which will clean the cars, they will maintain the cars, they will charge the cars, they will take care of all those things that Waymo and Google don't want to take care of them. Even though Google has unlimited resources and they can fund Waymo in a major way, they still don't want to get into the little maintenance stuff and other kind of things, and they delegate that to Uber. And Uber has stakes in fleet managers, and those fleet managers, they recharge the cars, they clean them, maintain them, do all these kind of things. So Uber is not just a platform, but Waymo has clearly found massive success using the Uber platform, and they continue to expand with the Uber platform. Okay, now the counter argument is that Tesla's rides are much, much cheaper. So once Tesla rolls out, they're going to have a massive market share. But I always say Tesla is not going to have a 100% market share for many different reasons. The first reason is, and I don't like talking about those things on the channel, but I'm going to have to. Now, you know, the CEO, Elon Musk, I mean, he joined the administration with one specific party, and we've seen what happened to Tesla's car sales around the world. We've seen what happened with a lot of things with Tesla, and 50% of the population isn't too happy with Tesla, and people have strong feeling about that stuff. So you have 40 to 50% of the population that did not vote for this party. They don't want to use Teslas. They're willing to pay more to use another alternative, and they just don't want to use Teslas. Now, whether that changes in the future, that's I don't know if that's going to change, but this is a major reason that not a lot of people are taking into consideration, where people have strong feelings about that stuff, and they associate Tesla with a specific party, and if they don't agree with this party, they're just not going to use Teslas. I mean, this is where we are those days, and we're seeing what's happening on the internet, and that's one of the biggest reasons why Tesla is not going to have a 50 or 60 or 70% market share in the United States, not even 90 or 100%, maybe 40% maximum in terms of autonomous vehicles, or maybe 60%. But I would highly doubt they're going to have like the entire market or something crazy. But let's assume they have a massive market share in the United States. Well, what about internationally, where you have a lot of competition from Chinese cars and other kind of autonomous vehicle companies, which are also partnered with Uber? A large amount of Uber's revenue comes from international revenues, and internationally Tesla isn't as competitive as they're protected in the United States because of the tariffs, but outside the United States they're not too competitive, and there's way cheaper alternatives from China. So will Tesla also have a 100% market share in Europe and in Asia and all these kind of places? The answer is of course not. So the reason why Uber is going to zero, or Uber is like Nokia, to me it's absolutely insane. And if you're buying Uber, you're also getting a stake in Didi, which is a popular ride-sharing app in China. So a lot of the autonomous vehicles, they're going to likely be hooked on the Didi app. Same thing with Grab. Grab is like the Uber of Southeast Asia. It's the leader over there. And the same thing with Delivery Hero. You're getting exposure to all those things. You get exposure to Joby Aviation, which they have the air taxis. They're rolling them out in Dubai, I believe this year in 2025 or in early 2026. So you get exposure to so many different investments internationally, where Tesla isn't as competitive as it is in the United States. But another reason that I like to talk about, Uber also has a partnership with NVIDIA. And not a lot of people talk about this one. And they partnered with NVIDIA because NVIDIA found out that the data that Uber has is extremely, extremely valuable for them to create their models for autonomous vehicles, but also for humanoids and robots. And this is from the latest NVIDIA's call. They said the world's first open, fully customized foundation model for humanoid robots, enabling generalized reasoning and skill development. We also launched new open NVIDIA Cosmo World foundation models, leading companies including 1X, Digital Robotics, Figure AI, Uber, and Waabi have participated in that. So Uber is also participating in a lot of things within humanoids and other kind of things. So their partnership with NVIDIA is very, very valuable, and ultimately Uber will likely collect royalties from their NVIDIA partnership, and that's a valuable one that not a lot of people talk about. But something else that not a lot of people talk about is how is Tesla going to take over Uber's delivery business. So Uber delivery business is massive. It's rapidly growing much faster than the ride-hailing business, and profitability over there has been ramping up like never before. So how are those autonomous vehicles gonna deliver, food to your hotel room or food up to your 20th floor in your apartment, unless they get some kind of a humanoid that rides, the Tesla autonomous vehicle, and they go up 20 floors in the elevator and go deliver to your room? And that's not gonna happen anytime soon, guys. I mean, let's be realistic. And if it does happen in the United States, again, Tesla isn't too competitive outside the United States. days. So Uber is really not going to zero. It's not the next Nokia anytime soon. And something else that I would like to point out, that Uber is expanding into becoming a super app. They don't just want to deliver food from restaurants. They don't want to just have the ride-sharing app, but they also want to be the delivery app for all your needs. So if you want something from Home Depot right now, you're at a job site, you can go on Uber and order whatever you want from Home Depot. They'll be there in 20 minutes. Amazon takes 1 or 2 days. Uber will be there in 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. The reach is absolutely insane. You want something from Family Dollar with a recent partnership, they're going to go get your food and bring it to you. How is Tesla going to do that? So to me, the whole narrative that Tesla is going to kill Uber is mainly wishful thinking from Tesla shareholders. And I have nothing against Tesla. I think it's an amazing company. But sometimes what we wish and reality are different things. And maybe I end up being wrong 25 years from now if I'm alive. But I know over the next 5 years, Uber is very cheap. Is trading at 15 times free cash flow and is growing cash flow around 23% 2025, expected to grow 23% in 2026. And I think they will grow 20% for many years to come, at least for the next 5 years. So if they're growing 20% in free cash flow and you're paying 15 times free cash flow, you're buying it for less than 1 times price to free cash flow growth. So when I look at Uber, I look at their margins, I look at the potential of the company, and I look at how much time it will take for Tesla to put in a meaningful dent on Uber, I'm seeing an amazing opportunity. I'm seeing an amazing buying opportunity. And again, if I'm wrong, maybe 20 years from now. But I know over the next 5 years, there's a very high likelihood I'm going to make money with Uber stock, despite whatever Tesla does with the humanoids and all these kind of things. So to me, the setup is looking great. I do have a position, and I told people it's not a bad time to consider starting a position and looking into the stock. But because I have a large position, I'm personally, kind of waiting a little bit for 78, 75. So anything close to 75, I'm likely to buy a lot of Uber, maybe, add 30, 50% to my position. But I think it's presenting an amazing entry and a good opportunity for people that have a different view and that, want to look into something else. And I think Uber is presenting that. And that's just my opinion on Uber, not financial advice, of course. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.